Was Arthur Harrow the first Moon Knight? Guys, welcome back to the Jersey Comic Crew. Chris and Rob here, as always, and we need to discuss if Arthur Harrow was the first ever Moon Knight in the MCU. Rob, we had that great scene with Arthur Harrow and Stephen Grant in his cult compound. So what do you think? We found all this information about Khonsu and Arthur Harrow's past.
I mean, there's a reason why Khonsu wanted him to die, right? And I couldn't place my finger on it. I was like, I guess he's really worried about this other guy coming in. And he's like, we find out, oh no, he used to be the fist of Khonsu. So this has to be that Arthur Harrow was once the Moon Knight, right? He was once running around killing people. And I think the reason Khonsu and him split up was because Arthur Harrow seems to be like, all right, if we kill people before they do the act, we can stop all this from going, you know, very similar in the same ideology as Ahmet. He's like, you can't just punish innocent people, just like Stephen Grant was saying. You can't kill a child for something they might do 30 years down the line, which you have no idea the way their life is going to be. Khonsu probably separated from him, like, you're being too crazy, you got to stop this. And he's like, you know what, I'm going to find some God who will support me. And he's trying to find a new, I guess, God to be a vessel of, to bring darkness or to do his own form of justice, if you will.
It has to do with kind of being drunk with power, right? Arthur Harrow is this cult leader character. Mm-hmm. He is, you know, people who are cult leaders, if you've seen any documentaries in the past 5 to 10 years, they're usually the ones who are allowed to do way more than the people serving them. That drunk with power situation probably didn't fit well with Khonsu, right? You're the vessel of Khonsu. You're listening to what he says. I wonder if Arthur Harrow got tired of listening to his quote-unquote master and wanted more of a partnership. And that's why he's now serving Ahmet. And how that works right now, we still don't know, right? We haven't seen Ahmet personified. We don't know how he communes with her. As we kind of go, I'm sure we'll see that. But that might be a big thing where it was like, hey, you did something I didn't want you to do. Mm-hmm. You're done. And how do crazy people take, you know, being unwanted? Or how do crazy people take...
They're going to lash out.
Exactly. Like, so now he has this cult of followers for Ahmet. He's basically on the camp of, I will do whatever it takes against Khonsu. Like, screw Khonsu. This is all about revenge and getting back at Khonsu. The undertone of his quote-unquote calm persona and how he is now, Rob.
I like that they're evolving this character from the comics who was nothing into this own unique thing that we're going to fall in love with in the MCU. And the MCU has this kind of like cookie cutter mentality when going into movies and TV shows, that like you take a character that's kind of similar to the hero and like what would they be like if things were reversed or different, right? You look at Killmonger versus Black Panther, Iron Man versus the Ironmonger, stuff like that. Red Skull versus Captain America. Very similar ideologies and beliefs, just twisted in a different way to lead to a different outcome, right? So Arthur Harrow being this like, oh, we're gonna stop and we're gonna be good, we're gonna bring justice to the world. My justice means this. It's similar but different, and it's gonna lead them down this dark, twisted path. While you have Moon Knight and Marc Spector going against it in their own unique way. I'm sure by the end of this season, we're going to have like Arthur Harrow versus Moon Knight, and Arthur Harrow is going to be this in like full kind of like darkness, regalia, trying to go after Moon Knight. I have no idea visually what it's going to look like, but I'm excited to see that. And it's going to be really cool to see them fighting fist to fist, because Arthur Harrow is going to know all of the moves that Moon Knight is going to be able to throw at him, because he was once. It's not confirmed yet, but it's pretty much guaranteed that he was that character.
Yeah, that would be great. I'd love to see them in a showdown, especially, you know, maybe he gets the glass out of his shoes, and that's maybe what he uses to make himself look slower and older.
I like
right?
that.
He reminds me of the Maester from Game of Thrones. Remember, he would add all that weight to him, and the chains under his cloak to make him look older and slower, and he's just lying to everyone. Now, what I think is also going to be interesting is not just Arthur Harrow, but his followers. Like, will he eventually use them to power up Ahmet? I think all those people are going to get drained of their life force to awaken Ahmet. And that aspect of the thought process is going to be vital throughout this series, which, you know, Ahmet's saying, if you're a bad person, I'm gonna be able to tell before you do things.
Yeah.
That's very Minority Report, which is a great Tom Cruise movie. Highly suggest watching it.
Enough.
He's basically a cop who arrests people before they act on crimes. That process, which Stephen Grant breaks apart hilariously, is going to be an interesting hypocriticism, right? Like, the fact that Arthur Harrow's this vessel taking people's lives goes exactly against what supposedly Ahmet's all about. How does that affect him later on? Does Khonsu and Ahmet fight in like a spiritual realm?
Oh, that'd be so cool to see the giant spirits fighting each other, like the giant like kaijus. I'm down.
Like we have this hippo giraffe hippo alligator thing fighting Khonsu's bird beak, and then we have whatever Arthur Harrow turns into, hopefully some like dark black purple Moon Knight opposite.
Sure.
I love what they've done with Arthur Harrow. And I think he's going to be a great villain going forward because he wasn't always a villain. He's kind of like a Count Dooku character, right? I was a part of the Order. I helped. They threw me in the side, and now I'm doing this. So I'm so excited.
So it's obvious to say that we think Arthur Harrow was the first Moon Knight in the MCU. We want to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. Was he ever that superhero saving the world one day at a time?
And guys, thank you so much for watching. Give us a thumbs up. Like, really helps the channel out a lot. And if you're new, subscribe and turn on notifications. You know we're going to be talking about Moon Knight through the whole thing. And if you missed any videos, they are right here for you. And as always, I'm Chris Heller. That's Rob Moran. We're the Jersey Comic Crew, and we'll see you next time. Latest, guys.